You failed. Let's not dance around it. You tried something, it didn't work. You messed up. You fell flat on your face. Maybe you lost money. Maybe you lost time. Maybe you lost people. Or maybe, worst of all, you lost belief in yourself. Now you're stuck with that sinking feeling in your stomach. The shame, the disappointment. That voice in your head saying, I knew you weren't good enough. And let me guess, you want to hide. You want to disappear. You want to stop trying altogether because trying hurts. Because now you get to find out what you're really made of. See, everybody talks about winning. Everyone loves the success story, the glory, the applause. But no one wants to talk about what happens when it all goes wrong. Let's talk about that part. The fall, the screw-up, the heartbreak, the silence after the storm. Because that's where the real work starts, not when everything's going great, but when everything falls apart. That's where you learn who you are. And if you're still breathing, if you're still here watching this, I've got news for you. Your story isn't over, not even close. But whether or not you rise again, that's on you. Let's get something straight. Failing does not make you a failure. But staying down, that's a choice. Pain is part of life. Embarrassment is part of life. Setbacks, rejection, loss, it's all part of the deal. You don't get to skip that part. No one does. But what you do after it, that's where most people get it wrong. Most people get hit and stay down because it's easier. It's safer. They say, why try again? What if I fail again? And the answer is simple. Then you fail again. And if you're smart, you learn from it. You bleed, you grow, and you go again. Because that's what strong people do. You want to know the difference between people who make it and people who don't? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not being special. It's how fast they get back up. Because the truth is, you will fail again. You're supposed to. That's how you figure out what works. That's how you figure out who you are. But if every time life knocks you down, you start crying about how hard it is, how unfair it is, how tired you are, guess what? You'll stay right there. The world doesn't pause because you're hurting. It doesn't stop spinning because you had a bad day. So go ahead and cry. Go ahead and be mad. But after that, you get up. And not just physically. You get your mind up. You get your standards up. You get your effort up. No one's going to carry you. That's your job. Here's what no one wants to tell you. You needed that failure. You needed to get knocked down to learn how to stand up stronger. You needed the pain to kill off the parts of you that were weak, lazy, or entitled. You needed to learn that success doesn't come from doing things once. It comes from doing things again and again and again until something clicks. You think the greats didn't fail? They failed more times than most people ever tried. But they didn't stay down. They used the pain. They didn't run from it. They ran through it. You've got to stop letting failure be the end of your story. It's just a page. Turn it. And listen, this is going to sound harsh, but it's real. You're not special for being in pain. You're not the only one who's ever failed. So don't use that as your excuse to give up. Use it as your reason to fight harder. Because right now, you've got two options. You can stay down, feel sorry for yourself, tell everyone how life isn't fair, or you can stand up, look life in the face, and say that's all you've got. That strength, that grit, that fire, it doesn't show up when you're winning. It shows up now. This is the part of the story where the world is watching to see what you'll do next. And guess what? No one's expecting you to be perfect. They're expecting you to show up. to not disappear, to not quit on yourself. Because let me tell you something, when you quit on yourself, you teach the world to quit on you too. But when you get back up, even with shaky hands, even with bruises, even when your voice cracks, you show yourself what kind of person you really are. You're not the failure. You're the comeback. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You don't need a big break. You need to stop hiding behind fear and start earning your way forward. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, you're going to be scared. Yes, people might laugh. And yes, it might not work the first time, or the fifth. But let me ask you this, what's the alternative? Sit in that failure forever? Pretend you're okay being stuck? Lie to yourself and call it moving on? No, that's not your life. That's your fear talking. And fear doesn't get to write your future, you do. So here's the truth. No one is going to believe in you until you do. No one's going to fight for you until you fight for yourself. So, stand back up, again, and again, until you win. But that version doesn't show up unless you do. So what are you going to do? Stay down? Make excuses? Or rise? You don't need everything figured out. You just need to make a decision. A real one. Not a wish. Not a hope. Not a maybe someday. A decision that says, I don't care how many times I've failed. I will not quit. I will not fold. I will not run. I will rise. And when the world hits you again, you rise again. Because this is not about getting it right the first time. This is about being the kind of person who never stays down. So stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop hoping someone else is going to fix this. Stop blaming the fall and start owning the rise. You want to win? Then show me what you do after you lose. Because that's where champions are made. You've got what it takes. You always have. Now get up and prove it.